Right, we may have a disruption to the production of fine quality video material because we're off on holiday to Greece for 2 weeks as well, only the second time I've ever been for 2 weeks, so I'm going to get separation anxiety from the brewery and from brewing. So what's the answer to this, do you think? Well, I'm thinking of taking some ingredients with me and trying to do a full grain brew with villa equipment or lack of equipment, saucepans and things, and we're going to see if we can brew a beer whilst we're there and get it ready in time and drink it and enjoy it. So don't tell Ros about it because she'll probably not be as enthusiastic as I am about the idea. So the first thing is we need to take as little as possible, but we do need to take some stuff with us. So I've got a recipe pack from the malt miller, and I've got in here some other bits and bobs. This is a bag in a box, 20 litres. So I'm hoping that I can somehow get a little tap with it. I can use that as a fermenter. And then I've got to get this box in somehow, and even that doesn't fit. I think the box is going to take up half the suitcase. Right. Didn't quite expect that. It's quite a sturdy box. It doesn't fold very easily. Might have to sneak that in Ros's bag. I'm sure she won't notice. Right, that's the suitcase full with just the box. Grains. Somehow I've got to get this bag in without damaging it. Gosh. What's the best way to do that? Simply squash it. Hops. Some string to lift up this grain bag. Water salts, sterilising concentrate, hop bags, yeast, and spectrum hops to do instead of the dry hop. Tap, a bit of pipe. Right, so that's everything. Couple of pairs of pants, some shorts and a couple of t-shirts and we'll be done. But we've got a bit of a weight problem and in order to keep the weight at a minimum then I think we need to cut down on superfluous things. So I think we'll trim down the toothbrush to half size so that we're not wasting any weight in the suitcase and we can get all the brewing ingredients in. Now the only other thing that's a slight concern is going through customs with these white powders, minerals, salts and so on. I mean, I've helpfully labelled them up so the customs people can see that they're only sodium chloride and calcium chloride and so on, but you never know, do you? So I'll sneak that into the house before Ros sees what I'm doing and we should be good to go.
Right, do I go unpack then?
That's a do. That's my clothes unpacked.
What the hell's that in there? What's all this stuff?
Well,
You got new clothes and all this?
Well,
What are you going to do with that?
well, let me just do some brewing whilst we're here.
You're joking. Oh my goodness. Right. Go find somewhere to put it then.
Yeah. Well, that's not too bad a reaction. Yeah. You can just put that away.
What the hell? I'm sure you could have afforded to have a whole toothbrush in there.
Just trying to keep the weight down there. Right. Looks like I might have got away with that. Didn't seem too cross, did she? Hopefully, if I can make it nice, she won't be cross when she tastes it. And the other good news is I managed to get my white powders through customs.
I think you're lucky. What else have you got in there?
Oh, I've got hops and more hops,
You are a nutter.
yeast, sterilising stuff.
How long have you been planning all this?
Oh, well, don't waste my evenings, you know, Ross. So having got all these white powders through customs, I've now got to think of a way of measuring them and changing the quantities without any scales. I need 5.5 and I've got 9. 5.5 ninths. So Greek water, you can drink the tap water in Greece, but it's said to be so minerally that it might upset your tummy. So even the bottled water is quite minerally over here, but we've got it now, so we've got to use it. So I think we've adapted the salts here to as best we can using this advanced measuring method. So that is my pile. So now what I need to do is heat the water up. I'm a bit limited by what we've got. Villa saucepans. And also need to work out, I'm not used to brewing in a keep cool box. Which is what I've got. Unfortunately, I thought there'd be a keep cool box in the villa. There wasn't one, so I've had to buy one. But it's 26 euros, so that's hit the brewing budget a little bit. But I'll work out at the end how much a pint it's cost, and we'll see if this mad experiment was worth it. The whole saucepan capacity at the villa is now full with 9 litres of water. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to boil 20 litres. I think we can get away with a short boil on this job because it's a hazy beer, it doesn't really need a full hour's boil, there's no bittering hops actually going in. So we could probably do, say, half an hour boil. So we might have to just do it in 2 batches, or sister-in-law's next door, I can maybe borrow a saucepan, but we've only got one more ring. The next problem we've got is no thermometer. How did they used to do it in the old days? I think you'd stick your hand in and see how many seconds you could keep it in there, and if it felt really, really hot, but you could keep it in a few seconds. I think that was the rule for about 65. Problem with this beer is I need to mash it at 72. How am I going to do that? So apparently, in the old days, brewers would look at the surface of the mash water, and if they could see a reflection of their face, it meant the water was too cold. And if there was a load of steam coming off it obscuring the image of your face, then it was too hot. So you had to judge it by eye to get the right temperature. To be honest, I've just brought a thermometer with me because I thought I can't really judge that. So I've got no pH meter, no way of telling the pH. So I thought for the sake of a little bit more luggage, I'd just bring this little thermometer with me. It's just a cheapy digital thermometer, but at least I can check the temperature. The recipe is called Tricky's Pineapple Passion, and it was primarily a tester recipe for the Pineapple Passion yeast. So I've just ordered the recipe kit from the malt miller, because then all the grains in one bag, nice and easy. It's a hazy beer, a hazy kind of NEPA style beer, but session strength about 4%. Now, I did think about what kind of beer I should brew for this job. I thought I could possibly just do an English bitter, and then I thought I might have some challenges clearing it in the time constraints, although I think probably could have done it with a bit of Browsol. And so I also thought the beer needs to be relatively weak, no more than 4-ish%, because it's just going to get ready quicker, both in terms of the fermentation and the conditioning and the dropping bright and everything. The weaker the beer, the quicker it seems to go. I've opted for a hazy beer, but there was a problem with that. A lot of hazy NEPA style beers have a dry hop in them. I can't really do a dry hop, I've got no proper fermenter. I mean, I could do in my bag, but I don't think it would be great. But the way I've got around that is by I'm going to use some Spectrum. So Spectrum is a liquid hop product, and you can put it in the fermenter like a dry hop, but there's no debris or trub from it. So I happen to have two in stock, Galaxy and Eldorado, and so I'm going to omit the hops from the dry hops from that are included in the recipe, and just use these instead. And the original recipe did have slightly different hops in, but I think that'll be okay. And I'm also going to change the yeast. Why? Because we need a thermotolerant yeast. It's hot here, and also we want it to be ready quick. So I'm going for Mango Madness to sort of fit in with the sort of hazy theme and fruity tropical sort of thing that we should get from the Eldorado and Galaxy dry hop. So I have altered the recipe a little bit, but if you want the original recipe kit, you can get that from the malt miller, and you can also watch Tricky do the recipe on his Dudes Brews channel as well. So I think that we should be able to ferment this fast with this yeast in hopefully a couple of days, and then we'll put it in the fridge in the bag to sort of settle, and then we'll get it into bottles and we'll bottle condition it, which hopefully will also be quite quick if we leave them out in the warmth. So my target is, well, I said we were coming away for 2 weeks and that we need to do it within that, but there has been an alteration to that because my nephew Joe is here with us. You've seen him tasting with me on the channel before, and he's only staying for a week, so he's obviously desperate to taste this before he goes back. So we've got to get it ready really in 6 days in order. It's Monday today and he goes back on Sunday, so we really need to drink it Saturday night at the latest. Is that 6 days or 5? It's tight anyway, so we better get cracking. Now, one thing that we can do to get rid of that temporary hardness, those carbonates in the water, is to boil it. So I've boiled some of the strike water first, and you can see this residue here is that temporary hardness has been removed from the water, so that'll do us good, I think, for this kind of beer. And boiling water or heating it up to remove temporary hardness in hard water areas is something that brewers used to do a lot back in the day. A lot of the things that we're doing today in the limited equipment zone are looking back into how brewers used to do things in the past, which is quite interesting. So I measured that out before, about 76 degrees, so I think hopefully that's about right to get this to mash at 72. But I'm always afraid of denaturing the enzymes mashing this hot. But 72 is what the recipe says. Mashing it hot means that you'll get more body in the beer, but you'll also get lower alcohol because not as much of the sugars basically will be fermentable. Now it's quite thin because it's full volume mashing, so I'm going to put the lid on. Temperature all good. The consistency of your mash is actually quite important because the enzymes that exist in the barley go and find these long chain sugars and they break them up. They attach themselves to them first, almost like a key that fits on them, and then they help them to break up through enzymatic activity, however that works. And when the sugars break down into shorter chains, they detach themselves and they go and find the next long chain sugar to work on and help that split up. You also need your water in a mash to facilitate this. Helps the it helps the enzymes move around, and so too much water and they're too far from the next sugar to break down, so the mash works a bit slower. Too little water and there's not enough hydrolysis to get the job going. So that's why actually the consistency of your mash, i.e. how much water to grain ratio you put in there, is a bit of a science. I don't claim to know everything about it, but I know that it's important for brewing. So this being a watery mash with full volume, should I therefore leave it for the full hour? May as well, haven't I? I've got nothing else to do whilst I'm on holiday except brew. So yeah, I'll leave it an hour now, and then we'll come back to it, and then we'll try and think how on earth we're going to boil 20 litres in 9 litres of saucepan. Now another consideration is what we're going to do with the beer when we've fermented it. And we're going to bottle condition it, and we're going to save up pop bottles. So this means that it is our sacred duty to drink pop in order for us to have enough bottles to put this beer in. So these will do. I'll clean them out, sanitize them, take the labels off, put the flat beer from the fermenter in them, add some priming sugar. Luckily there's a little bit of sugar left here in the villa, so probably stick 1 sachet, maybe 2, probably, what are they, a teaspoon do you think? We'll calculate it anyway, how much we need to carbonate it to the right level. I'll have to hide the pop bottles in case the cleaner chucks them away when she comes, I suppose.
Richard, what are all these bottles in here for?
Well, I'm saving them for the beer, hiding them from Dawn Maid and Lars so they don't get thrown away.
Okay, odd.
You might think I'm used to all my fancy pants equipment, which I've got now, and I have got lots of nice toys in the brewery now, but when I first started brewing 30 years ago, I used exactly this, a keep cool box. In fact, before that I just used a bucket with a mesh bag in it and wrapped it in an old sleeping bag. Then I progressed to a keep cool box with a bag in it. So, I have done this before, but I must admit it's a long time ago. And it did have a tap in the bottom, so I didn't have to hoist it up like this. I'm going to bring that to the boil. So I'm going to boil it for, let's say, half an hour or something like that. Then cool it down and put the whirlpool hops in. Now then, for those hops, I've going to have to do my credit card method of estimating the weight again. So I'm going to measure them out now. Just switch the boil off, and I've got these two in this sink trying to cool them down to 80 degrees so I can add the whirlpool hops. No funnel in the billet, so I've had to improvise. Basically hold that funnel in, and bear in mind if I spill it on you it'll burn.
Will it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's red hot.
No, it's not red hot. It's
Don't spill
it's
it on.
alright. That's my whirlpool hops. Just let them drain. Right, I'm going to put these dry hops in Spectrum, so they're like a liquid hop really. Now you can add these at the beginning of the fermentation. You're supposed to get more fruity flavours, or you can add them at the end like hops and get more sort of woody, grassy flavours. Fruity sounds better to me, and the other thing is that you have to leave them to mix in and sort of amalgamate with the beer for a couple of days. We won't have time to do that if we put them in at the end, so I'm going to stick them in now. And now I need, if we were doing like for like, I think we needed 170 grams for the dry hop. I would put, one packet is 20 grams and they're got the poke of 100 grams worth of hops. But you're not supposed to add more than 20 grams a litre, otherwise it might be overpowering, it says in the instructions. So I've got Eldorado and Galaxy. I think what I'm going to do is add about, again I'll just have to judge it, about half of each pack so that we can get the two hops in there. 34 it is, and Mango Madness can work 31 to 37. Right, that's my brew day done. It's all tucked up in a box with a impromptu airlock there into the sanitizer. So see how fast this Mango Madness can work, and looking forward to the results. Right, this is just 24 hours later and it's slowed right up. So I think that perhaps if I leave it overnight tonight, it'll probably finish fermenting in the morning, which is 30 hours, very fast.
Why is my gin out of the fridge?
There isn't really room in there.
What the hell is that?
Oh, it's cold crushing the beer.
I think my gin's more important.
Well, you can have ice in your gin, can't you? You can't clear the beer any other way. Anyway, I'm going to bottle it today. So far, so good. Right, so here's the filled bottles. We've got 12 1.5 litre bottles, and it looks a nice colour, so I'm going to add the sugar now. Now the thing about bottle conditioning, which is good for particularly when you're starting off, is that you can, as you can see, you can have 3 bottles. It's pretty easy to clean them and take the labels off and everything. But also the addition of the sugar into the bottle, which is what we're going to use to condition the beer or give it its carbonation, is also going to scavenge oxygen out of the beer. Now this is a hazy beer, which is highly susceptible to oxygenation. Just a little tiny bit of oxygen in the beer will make it go off and go brown, it'll taste of cardboard and that sort of thing. So actually what we've done here isn't a bad method. The bag in a box system's great because when you pour it, it doesn't glug air back in, so no air goes back in, it just shrinks the bag down in the box. The little pipe we got went right down to the bottom of the barrel for bottle for minimum splashing. And then by putting the sugar in the bottles, bottle conditioning, we're hopefully going to scavenge any oxygen that has got in, because some will have done, and the yeast will just eat that up. You don't need fancy pants equipment even to do a hazy IPA. Just need to think about your methods a little bit, and bottle conditioning is still a good way of doing it. In the end, it took a bit more than 1 sachet. We ended up having 3 sachets per bottle to get this to carbonate properly. But as you can see, it pours a beautiful golden orangey colour, and there's enough carbonation by this time, which is Saturday, to give it a bit of a frothing head. So now I'm going to sit down with Joseph, taste the beer, and see if this mad experiment was worth all the effort. Right, Joe, this is the beer. Long awaited, whole 5 days since we pitched the yeast. I've just decanted it out of the bottle into this jug just to make pouring it easier, to avoid the sediment. Now the problem this time yesterday was it wasn't really carbonated enough.
Yep, immediately looks better.
It does look better. Cheers.
Yamas.
Yamas. I'm supposed to smell it first, aren't we? Well, look at it first. So beautiful
Haze.
Beautiful stable haze to it. There was a sediment that typed on the bottom of the bottle as well, so the yeast settled nicely. That's just proper protein haze that you want from a hazy beer, and doesn't have a really strong aroma, does it?
Citrusy.
Yeah, it is citrusy. What about tropical fruits? I know, got a bit more carbonation to it now. I'd probably do with a bit more still, but it's definitely drinkable, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Pretty easy drinking, bit of tropical fruit. It's not overpowering anymore from the hot burn from those
That's gone.
liquid hot products. It's rather quaffable. So the aim of this mad experiment, bring some grains with you on holiday, cook them, mash them with no equipment really, or just what we've got, produce the beer quickly before you go home, which is tomorrow now. And I think in terms of that brief, we've probably
Achieved.
managed it, haven't we?
It's nice to have something a bit different to just Greek lager.
Yeah, exactly. And we could have done an English real ale. I did think about doing that. Maybe we should have done. I was wondering if it would clear in time. Could have used a yeast like high voltage, which would have gone fast in the heat and still been clean. But I opted for the hazy one. And as you say, it's a bit different to what you can get here. And because it's such a session strength, you can have gallon after gallon of it tonight and not feel ill on your journey tomorrow.
Exactly. Small journey tomorrow. What strength is it?
That's a hang on. Well, I haven't got any equipment to check it with, so I couldn't measure the specific gravity. But I mean, it was supposed to be 4.1 I think %, but that was for 23 litres, but we've already squashed it down to 20. Plus with priming sugar, and the bottle's probably added 0.5%.
So we're looking at 4.5.
It's probably pushing 5, isn't it?
I think it does
What
go
do you
quite-
think of it, Nate?
I think it's very quaffable. It's much better than the Mamos. Very nice.
Sure.
You've done very well.
You don't really normally like these kinds
Yeah, I
of beers,
think
do
it's
you?
really nice.
I think
Yeah,
we're probably tasting the best beer on the island right now,
absolutely.
after what we've had this week.
Really?
I'd say so.
We have tried to get every obscure beer we can find, haven't we?
The Corfu Red was the highlight.
Corfu Beers, which is a small brewery on Corfu, which is the next island, that they were all right, weren't they? The Ionian Pilsner was quite good, and they do a red ale and a black ale,
Kolsch as well.
and there's a Kolsch beer kicking around from Islander Brewery, but there's no actual brewery on this small island of Paxos. The beer is called Hellenic Haze, and Hellenic meaning Greek, of course, but also behind us here we've got a lovely view of the mountains on mainland Greece, and in the mornings and evenings they're quite hazy, it's quite atmospheric, so that's kind of inspired the name and the badge. It's just a nice easy drinking,
It is.
soft tropical. You'd hardly think it was alcoholic at all, really, would you?
Juice-like.
It is juice-like. Thing is, I mean, these 1.5 litre bottles isn't much in them, is there really? Between two.
Getting through it a bit quicker than the Metaxa the other night.
Be a while till I tackle Metaxa again. The day I was brewing is when I played with you on Metaxa and Ouzo the night before. Probably look a little bit dull in the videos. Actually, although carbonation could do with being a bit more, there's enough there, and it's actually quite nice after a week of drinking the fizzy
Gassy lager.
to have something sort of. It's like the fizziness of a cask ale, really.
It
Now.
is, yeah.
So maybe my only mistake is not bringing 2 sets of ingredients and doing a range of beers for the holiday. Which I should have done a real ale
Taste test.
and a hazy. I'm not sure if you could do a lager fast, but you could definitely do a Weiss beer. You could probably do a real ale fairly fast, and certainly this hazy.
I think the hazy works.
If you brought enough stuff, we could just brew every day, couldn't we? And then for the first few days, and then get a good get some taps set up and have a good 5 or 6
I wonder how
beers.
feasible it'd be to bring stuff out and leave it here. Have a word with Fraser and
Well, if you fancy digging through rock, you could bury some stuff in the garden to hide it. Might have to go and get another bottle. Well, now we've had 2 bottles, Joe, I think it's probably safe to say that that was frothing ale.
quaffable, frothable.
That's the best bit. I reckon if we had a 3rd bottle, we could actually do the video all again much better. What strength do you think it is now we've had 2 bottles?
5. 5.2.
Frothers. Nah, this is an elixir, this won't make you bad, will it? Got another bottle.
Who ordered the Hellenic Haze?
Oh, super. Bottle number 3.
Another one.
Hellenic Haze. Frothing Hellenic Haze. So baklava, aka shredded wheat, is traditional. In fact, this isn't baklava, is it?
Yeah.
Baklava is the one with phyllo pastry.
No, it's not.
This is still called something else. This is the shredded wheat one, anyway. It's like shredded wheat with honey on it.
And a couple
What
of
does
nuts.
it go with the beer? Oh, it does.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, super. Better pour another glass. It is quite a good match, isn't it? Because the beer's quite sweet, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And soft. It's soft and pillowy, so goes quite well with the
Honey pudding.
frothing ale. So, Jay, what's the verdict then? Worth doing the experiment, do you think?
Definitely. Absolutely. What's it cost? Half a toothbrush?
Ah, now that's a good question. I'll put the cost on the screen because I can't remember it, but we've got the cost of the recipe kit, we've got the cost of the bag to put inside the Keep Cool box, the grain bag, which I haven't got already, so I had to buy one, and also the bag in a box, 20 litre bag in a box, which was used as the fermenter. And then we did have a bit of an unhoped for expense when we got here. We had to buy a Keep Cool box for €26.
And all the water.
And we had to buy bottled water, but I'm not going to count that because we would have bought bottled water and drunk it anyway. The fact that we've put ale in it doesn't make any difference. Off the top of my head, I think £2 a pint roughly then. And we're paying in the village, what, €650 for a pint
Yep.
of draft,
€7 some
draft
places.
macro lager. And, you know, for a nice bottle of a rare breed beer, it's sort of £6.50 for a little half, isn't it? So even, I'm not counting the cost of the suitcase either because they weren't extra on this particular flight, they were included. Because otherwise it would have been a moral debate as to whether to include rip-off suitcase charges. So for roughly £2 a pint, I mean, if we bought, so it hasn't been ridiculous, has it? And also, it's kept me occupied for a few days, hasn't it? Fiddling with it. So, the only thing that has been a thing is, many years ago, I moved the brewing operation out of the house, out of the kitchen specifically, into my own private den in the shed, and it was I didn't mind going back to the old equipment like the Keep Cool box and everything. That was fine, no problem, and saucepans. But it was noticeable that I had to tread very carefully around the domestic situation when brewing back in the kitchen again.
You didn't spill it all over the floor this time.
Fortunately, not not that anyone
know
knows of. And the other agonising difference that I thought was we normally give our leftover grains to the pigs next door at home, and there's no goats or anything around here like there has been in the past. We had to just chuck them in the bin. That felt like such a waste.
Well worth doing.
Super. Going to have a siesta now.
Immediately.